guys, I'm Hellhound, and we're finally here. Pretty much the very end of the reviewing all the movies of what I consider the big five of horror franchises. You know, all the Jason, Myers, Leatherface, Freddy, and Chucky movies. And Curse of Chucky being the final one. This is a very good movie, and I highly recommend it. But before we get started, a little background. Now, when I first heard we were getting a new Chucky movie, it had been a long time since Seed of Chucky, almost 10 years. That was in 2004. This finally came out in 2013, and there were so many rumors going around that Curse of Chucky was going to completely ignore Bride and Seed, which I didn't care for. I know horror elitists hate those movies because they're more funny than scary, and they're pretty much straight-up comedy, and it's kind of where the series jumped the shark, but I highly disagree. I love those movies. They're so much fun. They're a blast. I think it was a good step to go in, you know, and it wasn't like they overdid the comedy ad nauseum, like a movie like Freddy's Dead, to where it's just annoying and out of place. I think they fit really well, because Chucky was always kind of a funny character anyway. You know, I think that was a great step to go in. So I heard this was going to ignore those two, which I didn't care for. Then I heard it was direct-to-video. It wasn't coming to theaters, so, you know, usually those movies are kind of, you know, crappy quality. I mean, there are exceptions, but a lot of times they're really cheaply done, and, like, they're not all that good. And then lastly, I read the premise, you know, a girl in a wheelchair being stalked by Chucky, and, like, he had some ties to her past, and I saw the trailer, and I wasn't too impressed by it, and so I finally bought it when it first came out. You know, I didn't see it in theaters, of course. It was direct-to-video. I wanted to see it in theaters, because I had such a blast seeing Seed of Chucky in theaters almost 10 years before. And I finally popped this thing in, and what can I say? Wow, I was blown away. I was not expecting this movie to be this good. This is a true return to form. Chucky is scary again. This was a straight-up horror movie after the two comedies we had. And as I said, I liked those movies, but I really appreciate them going back to their roots. They actually made Chucky mysterious, and they kept him in the shadows. And they did it the right way to where it wasn't, you know, like, you know, we all knew it was coming. We all knew he was going to be alive, but, like, it was still done really fresh and original, and, you know, in a really unique way, which I thought was good. He just shows up. You know, they don't explain how he survived after Seed of Chucky. We can only guess that Tiffany put him back together or something. But yeah, I thought this was going to ignore those. He just shows up. I was like, what the hell? But then finally, there's a scene where they take his makeup off, and, like, he's got the stitches from Bride Seed. I was like, whoa, this movie does follow those two movies. It was just a rumor. I was like, and I'm glad that happened. I'm glad I heard those rumors. That made me appreciate this movie even more. It was a pleasant surprise. But yeah, the main premise, I'm getting ahead of myself, is a girl named Nika, played by Fiona Dourif, the real-life daughter of Brad Dourif, who voices Chucky and plays the human Charles Lee Ray, is, you know, a girl who's in a wheelchair, and she lives in her really, really fancy, kind of creepy old house, though, with her mom, who ends up being killed in a freak accident after a strange-looking doll is delivered to their house. Yeah, so already it's kind of a mystery, you know. It keeps us, you know, kept the audience wanting more, because we didn't really know what was going on. Like, who is this girl? Why is Chucky there? Why does he want her? We all knew he was going to be alive, but and so yeah. Then her sister comes with her husband and young daughter, and then after the local priest is killed off too, in a really, really bizarre and entertaining way, which I won't give away. It becomes apparent that something strange is going on in this mansion, and we already know what it is. Chucky's alive, and he's you know, trying to kill these people. And it turns out that Charles Lee Ray, when he was human, had a certain tie to Nika's mother, and now he's just tying up loose ends. He was finishing off this family, you know, because he has, like, completion anxiety after all. You know, we all know Charles Lee Ray's a wild, hot-headed sadist. You know, he's just nuts. You know, he's a low-life serial killer, so yeah, he just wants to finish them off once and for all, and complete that, you know, take out that final tie from his past. And so yeah, really entertaining, really very well done, really suspenseful and creepy. Don Mancini directed this one. He has always been the writer of all the Chucky movies. Chucky's his creation. He directed Seed of Chucky too, but this movie's a completely different direction. It went back to the horror roots, as I said. And yeah, wow. Yeah, great acting from the lead. Fiona Dourif as Nika does very good. You know, it's pretty cool that she's Brad's real-life daughter, too. She looks a lot like him. And then, yeah, the chick who plays her sister, and yeah, they all do good. Yeah, very mysterious, very dark movie. The whole thing takes place in the house. It's a really kind of isolated, kind of claustrophobic setting, which I thought was cool. Feels very secluded. And there's even flashbacks to back when Charles Lee Ray was human. and yeah, Brad Dourif had to wear a wig and like some makeup to make him look like he did, 25 years before. They did a pretty good job. You can still see a noticeable difference, but it's pretty cool in those black and white scenes and the flashbacks. It's like, wow, this is the first movie to actually show the human Charles Lee Ray in action since the original from 1988. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I always thought that'd be a cool idea. I kind of wish they went more in depth. I wish they showed scenes like with him and his girlfriend Tiffany when they were both alive. Maybe him with his partner Eddie Caputo. Like, what was their connection? What did Eddie Caputo do? Did he just drive the getaway car? Did he just drive into his murderers? Say, okay, I'm dropping you off, Charles. Have fun. Go kill people. I didn't really understand like how they were acquainted. So a flashback there would have been cool, but it's okay. I'm not saying that's a flaw or anything. This movie is excellent. It's right up there with Child's Play 1 and 2. It's right up there with Bride of Chucky, although it's a completely different movie. It's definitely the scariest one since the original, and a lot of people like this one second best next to the first one, and I can definitely see why. I still prefer Part 2 and Bride of Chucky slightly. This is definitely my fourth favorite. It's definitely better than Child's Play 3 and Seed of Chucky, for sure. Definitely a huge improvement there. This is the unrated version, and yeah, I'm not really sure the difference are because I've never seen the theatrical version. I've never even seen it in stores, so I guess there wasn't a theatrical version, obviously, duh, because it's direct to video. But yeah, some really cool kills, some really creepy scenes. If I didn't have any complaints, I have to say that Chucky has too many different looks. Like, at one point he looks Asian almost. Like he changed his face way too much, and until the makeup, until the mask finally came off, and then he had the stitches again, then it looked more like the Chucky we know. And a lot of people wanted them to go back to the real look, like before he had the stitches and the the face that he had in Bride and Seed of Chucky. That they wanted this face back, essentially. And this way we get the best of both worlds. He has his normal face back from the first three films, then he has the kind of the stitched look, the kind of the Frankenstein appearance from Bride and Seed. Everybody wins. How cool is that? Yeah, some very, very scary, suspenseful scenes. Some really, yeah, as I said, some really good kills. The beheading being the highlight, and the electrocution. Also had eyeballs gouged out. Yeah, this movie's scary and gory, and actually balances pretty well. And there's some humor in it too. Chucky's really funny still. He still spits some excellent witty one-liners. Brad Dourif still got it as the voice. He's still awesome. He's still very fun to listen to. You can kind of hear in his voice that he's getting a little older. He's starting to age, but Chucky's aging too, so it fits. It's not like it's unrealistic. You could say that the soul is getting older too. And yeah. In order to really do the film justice and talk about everything I like, I will have to reveal some spoilers. So, spoiler alert, if you have not seen this movie, stop the video now, because I'm going to reveal what happens at the end, okay? Ready, turn it off. Okay, you have been warned. Both Tiffany, who's presumably still in Jennifer Tilly's body from Seed of Chucky, I would imagine, I guess it would have to be, right? She shows up, and Andy Barclay, played by Alex Vincent from the first two Child's Play movies, shows up in a brief cameo after the end credits. So yeah, I wasn't expecting either of those two awesome Easter eggs. They really give the fans what they want. There's even a nod to Andy being in military school. He has the military academy certificate. He's talking on the phone to his mom, Karen, played by Catherine Hicks from the first movie, and he mentions that her and Mike Norris are together, the cop, played by Chris Sarandon from the first movie. There's a picture of him and his foster sister, Kyle, from the second movie. It's like, wow, was this movie made for the fans. Don Mancini really delivered exactly what I wanted in a Chucky movie, and then some. I was surprised. I could not believe this movie was as good as it was. And another spoiler, Chucky actually kind of wins in the end. He's not killed and defeated this time. He actually gets away with it. But he's definitely obvious that they're setting up another movie, and that being Cult of Chucky coming up soon. I'll let you guys know what I think of that as soon as I see it. You guys will be the first to know. I can't wait to see that too. By the way, the seventh film of the Chucky franchise. It's going to follow this one directly. Nika, played by Fiona Dourif, is returning. See my trailer reaction of Cult of Chucky for more info on that, and also look it up and stuff, research it, yada yada. I think that'll be a good movie too. And a decent follow-up. I hope they have more flashbacks too. Show Charles Lee Ray with Tiffany and Eddie, and some more. Maybe explain how Mike Norris discovered him, how he was on to him. I know there's some deleted scenes in the first movie that are lost forever that I'd love to see. Maybe they could recreate them somehow in a flashback. But yeah, this movie is a perfect balance between kind of annoying characters that we want to see die, and then those that we want to see live, and we don't want them to fall victim to Chucky. Some surprises, some shocking twists and turns. This movie kept me hooked. I was glued to the screen, and when it first showed like a clip from they were watching a whole movies, and the actual Charles Lee Ray, played by Brad Dourif, made an appearance. I knew I was really in for something special. Yeah, great kills, great lines from Chucky. He still got it again. He had a lot of different looks, and I guess my second big complaint would be this movie suffers from way too many endings. I think they should have just ended when Nico was taken away to the asylum during the courtroom scene, and Chucky won, and she said, "I beat you," and stuff. And then it should have showed Tiffany getting Chucky back from the cop after she slit his throat, which was very similar, very reminiscent to the opening scene of Bride of Chucky. Some people actually think this takes place in between Child's Play 3 and Bride because of that scene. That cop looks so similar. It does not. It does not take place between them. That was a totally different scene. Chucky has the stitches. Come on, guys. Come on. Do a little bit of legwork. I think you're smart enough to understand how they did that. Yeah. I had an ex-girlfriend who was confused and insisted that this one took place right after Child's Play 3 and bridged the gap between 3 and Bride, which no, it doesn't. It takes place after Bride scene. He mentions the Kincaids in this movie. The Kincaids were in Bride of Chucky. He mentions the Tillys, too. He said there's many families, the Barclays, Kincaids, and Tillys. They were from Bride and Seed. That's proof that this movie does not take place before Bride of Chucky. Okay, rant over. Yeah, it suffered from too many different endings. And there's the scene with Tiffany, and then the scene where Chucky's trying to transfer his soul into Nika's niece, the daughter of, her sister and her husband that were in the movie. And then the grandma has, plastic over her head. She rises up, and it's like... And then the scene where he mails himself to Andy Barclay, it's like, so was he unsuccessful in transferring his soul to the niece? What happened there? I didn't explain it, and it should have just had Tiffany getting him back in the mail and then mailing him to Andy Barclay. That would have been perfect. They should have left out the scene with the niece entirely, and then Andy has a shotgun and shoots Chucky at the end credits. It's like, yeah, too many endings. It's like they should have deleted some there. This movie definitely could have used a little bit of editing, because there were some other scenes as well. Also, there's a scene where Chucky's walking and it's CGI and it looks really, really fake. Yeah. So yeah, some of the special effects at times didn't look all that good, and they've always looked really good in all of the entries, aside from maybe the first movie, which had a few fake shots. But yeah, there's a minor complaint. Too many endings, a little bit too much going on, a little too convoluted there at the end. As I said, they should have just had, Tiffany getting Chucky back from the evidence and then mailing him to Andy, and just delete that scene with the niece and delete all that stuff in between, because it was just a little too much. It was like they didn't know which ending to use, and they just threw them all in there. They just kind of crammed them at the end, and yeah, that just felt like really sloppy and weak. So, but yeah, overall, this is a great movie. Highly recommended. It was a breath of fresh air. I had no idea it'd be this good. Wow. As I said, I was just blown away. I was really won over after I was expecting pure crap. My expectations were very low, but I'm sad to say it exceeded my expectations and then some. And I'm very excited to see Cult of Chucky. I love Chucky. It's like, they're some of my favorite movies ever. I hope they make them as long as they can. I hope they never remake it and ruin it. I hope they continue having Brad Dourif as the voice of Chucky. I don't care how old he gets, he can still do it. He'll always be Chucky to me, the one and only. He's awesome. And guess we delivered everything a Child's Play fan could want. It respected all the other sequels. I guess another thing that was missing is they could have explained what happened to Glenn and Glinda from Seed of Chucky. I wouldn't want them in the whole movie. I wouldn't want them focused upon too much, but at least a brief scene or some dialogue explaining their whereabouts, because they weren't in this movie at all. They weren't even mentioned, which is fine, but I don't know, who knows. Maybe in the next movie they'll explain it, because I think Tiffany, played again by Jennifer Tilly, is going to have a bigger part next time, as well as Andy Barclay, played by Alex Vincent. So yeah, I'm very thrilled for that. Yeah, this movie is kind of a start of a new beginning to Chucky. It was kind of felt like a reboot in some ways, not a remake, a reboot, where it kind of introduced new characters and had some old ones, and that's what a reboot should do: introduce new characters. We see it for the old characters, but then we stay for the we grow attached to the new characters too. They win us over. Then we want to see them next time too. Everything that like Star Wars: The Force Awakens and everything that stuff like that. That's kind of what this movie felt like. It was a return to form. It was a reunion of sorts. It brought it back to the basics, and it definitely made me want more. The series is definitely focused again. This definitely revived the series after And as I said, I liked Seed of Chucky. I'm one of the few that really loved it. So I thought it was good, but I still think that this was the necessary step to go in. I'm glad they didn't bring back another... I'm glad they didn't do another straight-up comedy, because I feel like they kind of did all they could do with that formula. But anyway, I'm kind of ranting now, kind of rambling a little bit, so I'll go ahead and stop. I'm talking about Star Wars and everything else. This is a Chucky video. Alright, guys, well, that's it. That's the end. I reviewed all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, all the Halloweens, all the Friday 13th, all the Nightmare on Elm Streets, and all the Chuckies with this one. We've reached the end. I guess there's not much left to do. There's still all kinds of other horror movies I'd like to get to. I guess I'll review maybe the rest of the Phantasms, maybe some of the Hellraisers, at least 2, 3, and 4. I also get to a lot of non-horror franchises. I like to review all the Star Wars films, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, Mad Max, Rocky, Rambo, Lethal Weapon, Die Hard. There's so many, there's so many great movies out there. And once I get to, finish up all the remaining horror movies, I mean, my job will never be done. There will always be stuff to talk about for many years to come, especially when they keep making movies. All right, guys. Well, I'm looking really forward to Cult of Chucky. Can't wait to see that movie. It's going to be excellent, and I'll let you guys know what I think about it. But for now, we're all done when it comes to the big 5 of the horror franchises. So until next time, not sure what the next movie I'll review will be, but I guess time will tell. All right, guys, I'm going to stop talking for now. I'm going to shut up now. I think I talked enough. See ya.